Good morning, everybody. Make sure everybody in the chat can see me. Make sure you can hear me, all that good stuff. Make sure everything's good. I'm glad you guys made it this morning. Let's see what's going on in the markets. Do we think there's more downside coming, or do we think there's just going to be a big bounce? If you remember the other day, we were red in the morning, turned green in the afternoon. So happy Friday, everyone. I want to wish everyone an awesome weekend before it starts. We'll be taking a look at my trade here in a little bit. Also, take a look at the markets. We will watch either the Dow, the S&P, or the NASDAQ at market open. You guys let me know which ones you want. That is in 15 minutes. We'll watch it live. We'll zoom in. Let's get a vote. Actually, let's get a vote and see which one you want to watch live. Do I have it in here? I'm going to put that in there right now. Oh, no. I had to delete the other posts. Let's just see what everybody's saying here. So what is it now? 64% say more downside. Probably because we're on my channel, right? And I'm bearish. But let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick, see what's going on with that. What do you know? We're trying to 83.5 again. We're getting a bounce as of right now. This would probably be the last test of this support before going up. So if it does hold, we probably have more upside. If it fails, I'd be looking again for the 77.6 range, and then if that once that breaks down to the lower levels. But we'll have to see what happens here. As you guys know from, what was it, Wednesday's video, we talked about getting into shorts if we got to these levels, which we did. We got rejected there, so obviously got into shorts. Now what we're going to look for is it has to break this trend here before going higher. And then, of course, you're going to have some resistance up here. So does that mean we come up to test the 89? So I have placed my stops. I'll let you know where my stops are in the current trade and where we're at with that. Check out the sponsor of the channel. So Prime XBT, if you like to trade more of the mix with Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, everything all from one exchange, check out Prime. Huge bonus signing up with my link down below. And if you look down at that link, you'll see I put the tutorials next to them so you guys can get an idea of how the exchange works and then decide which one you want to use. I've also have one for BITUNIX down below. You also get bonuses for sign up bonus for BITUNIX. Definitely check them out if you are trading. If not, no big deal, obviously. But if you are, BITUNIX doesn't require KYC, right? So a lot of people choose that, especially if people are just crypto. But I like the option to be able to trade in a lot of different things, and that's Prime XBT. BITUNIX is more so just a lot of coins, meme coins, everything, tons of different trading coins. But as I said, right now we're just stuck at this 83.5, and who knows, this weekend, depending on what the stock markets do today, will tell us what Bitcoin's going to do for the weekend. But a lot of times with Bitcoin, it'll have a pretty decent move in the weekend, and then come Monday, it'll start right back where it left off Friday at market close, right? So just be aware of that and be careful. Oh, also, free Discord down below. What's up, Donna? What's up, Jeff? How you doing, brother? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Doom the White. Don't know what that means, but all right. So, anyone got any big plans for the weekend before this market opens here? We'll have a little chit chat. Let's take a look at the alts too real quick before market opens. We got 10 minutes. So let's take a look at everything else here. So there's that big picture of Bitcoin. Obviously you guys know I have much bigger macro charts on Bitcoin with my reasoning of it having much more downside. Let's take a look at Solana. So Solana still in that flag right now. Just got another bounce off the bottom of it. I haven't touched these since we drew them out. But once this breaks, I do expect much more downside. This one will probably get you somewhere into the $100 range for a bounce, maybe a little bit lower. But remember, my ultimate target, unless we can get back inside this rising channel, is about 27 bucks. Could go a lot lower, especially if the traditional markets go into a big bear market. I'm going to show you my comparison chart if you haven't seen it with the Great Depression as to where we're at now in the macro view and why I think we could be in a 100-year cycle and it could get really ugly. And with everything going on in the world, it's pretty obvious. So let's take a look at XRP. Where we at? XRP still maintaining above this channel, right? But we are back below the main resistance, which is 240. So now that's going to be heavy resistance, right? And I see us, the real support is down here around 261. But of course, you're going to have some support here around 218, which is the top of this channel that only hype seems to get it out of, right? And then it goes right back in. So just be careful with that. Let's talk about ADA. So Cardano still flagging out right here. We'll see how this plays out soon enough. If that breaks, let me see here. What's the measure? The measured move of the big flag brings it all the way down to 15, which is a possibility. If you look at this way, then you get down to that 31 range that we've been waiting on. So we'll see what happens with that. Ethereum's still getting crushed here. You can pretty much just draw a support in here, but all these are flagging out. Could they be fake outs? Bust down from the flag a little bit and then shoot up. Definitely possible. If you are trading that, be extremely careful. But the same thing, Litecoin just seems to be flagging out. Once we break this area, it could get very ugly. Tesla, same thing. Tesla looks like it's flagging out. Even traditional markets are doing the same type deal. This could be a bottoming structure on the daily for Tesla to get a nice bounce up. But even if it did get a rally up, I would see it having a hard time busting through 300. It would probably get up in this range, maybe bounce around for a little bit and then come down. As you guys know, our first target down here is 151. If that breaks, same thing. All these play the same. If the target breaks, it becomes resistant and you go to the next target. I've been saying for 2 years, I'm looking to buy Tesla at 40 to 60 bucks. If it doesn't happen, don't care. No big deal. If it does happen, I will be buying a shit ton. So looking at Dow Jones, obviously we're out of that channel. Still showing the hidden bearish divergence here. Obviously that can be erased if we come up and test this channel at approximately 43.1, somewhere 43.2. Definitely still a possibility to get a rally up in this area. So again, traditional markets are going to be key as to what Bitcoin and crypto do, because if they're going to get a rally, the stock market has to rally, right? Other than the weekend, they might get a small rally on the weekend while the markets are closed. But same thing, our resistance for S&P is around 5,800, somewhere in that range. But these all are making almost like inverse head and shoulders right at the bottoms, which could signal a bounce. Doesn't have to be a huge bounce. You can see like here, we had it going on here. It got a bounce, but then continuation to the downside and did another, 20% move. But if you look at all this downside, of course, it's going to have some relief somewhere, right? It can't go straight down. Markets are traded. And looking at the NASDAQ, so we playing around with the bottom of that. We keep getting rejected at the bottom of this channel. We'll see how that plays out. If it can get back in this channel and hold support, then it could rally, obviously, a little bit higher. Same thing, looking like it's flagging out, or not flagging out, but inverse head and shoulder type deal down here. Let's take a quick look at my trade. So these are my current trades, up 9,700. Remember, we had a loss. I showed you guys my losses in the last one, but we're still up over $100,000 on this account, and we started this about 3 weeks ago. So that's where I'm at now. I got my stops at 85.5. So no matter what, it stops in profit. I think it'll be, like 3,000 profit if I get stopped out somewhere in there. I'd have to double check. But the take profits, I have all the way down to 67.5. Now, what I do, as you guys know, once it breaks certain points, so if I get a sell signal here in the 4, just like we did back here, I will move my stops down to be above 55 EMA, which is the yellow. So once we break down, if we have the cross of the EMAs, I'll show you that in this chart. All these EMAs in the 4 hour cross the yellow, right? Like we did back here. What I'll do is I'll trail my stop losses above this yellow line, which is the 55. Then once I get stopped out, like over here, and I look for another trade. That's my plan right now, so you guys know. Where we at? No big news. We did have some profit reports. Nothing big. 5 more minutes. So stocks making the biggest moves of pre-market. Lennar, Cleveland Cliffs, FedEx, Nike, and more. Here's Friday's biggest analyst calls. Nvidia. Let's look at Nvidia real quick. I haven't looked at it in a while. So here's a fan I put on Nvidia. If it can get back above this 121 and hold support, then we could, it could go test this range again around 138, 140. If not, we're looking to come down to about 106. If that breaks, looking down in the 80s, somewhere in the 80s. But again, see what happens right here. I have to watch that pretty closely. I don't follow it that close, so I do keep a chart up and keep my eyes on what's going on that chart. Practicing my golf game this weekend. Right on, Jeff. I don't know how the weather is here this weekend. I think it's in like the 50s. Bad. But I'm working on the property outside. What's up, Bear and the Boss Lady? Good to see you, brother. Go check out Bear and the Boss Lady's chainsaw carving work. It's pretty awesome, man. Wifey has my weekend planned. I got you, Jamie. You short Tesla? It rallies to 300. Nah, I'm not messing with the traditional markets at all at this point. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. So this was a warning and what I believe could definitely be coming our way. And this is what I've been waiting for a long time. Now, it doesn't have to go down as far as this went down, right? But I think there's going to be huge buying opportunities in the market. But if you look at the structure of the market, on the right here, we have 1929 Great Depression, and you see what happened there. Do you think anyone called this or thought this was going to happen? No, it doesn't happen like that, right? Just be careful, everyone. I mean, remember, we had tariffs and stuff back here. So a lot of things are lining up, but just be cautious, man. Because if that happens, it's not like the news is going to tell you what to do. Everybody's going to be panicking, and it could get crazy. Let's see. Got a couple minutes left. Any good news in here? Not really. Nothing huge. Trump floating the idea of sending Tesla attackers to El Salvador prisons. I think so, man. I think that's bullcrap. Screwing with people's cars, dealerships. These people are idiots. They don't understand that that's going to raise auto insurance, the effects that has on stuff. A lot of these purple-haired whack jobs don't have a clue what they're doing ever, except following orders from whoever their master. So 1 minute. Which one do you guys want to watch? Let's watch the Dow. I like watching the Dow. We'll zoom in, smaller time frame, see what happens here with the opening. Obviously, we know there's a big drop, but a 500-point drop, or a 300-point drop, which really doesn't get it that low. Will it get us below this 0.236 fib? That's what I want to see. And if it holds as resistance, if we get below it. Oh, guys, take a second. Go down, smash that thumbs up. I do appreciate it. It does help the channel. Please do that one thing. You hear YouTubers say it all the time. That's because it doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps our channel out. So please do. If you haven't already, smash that thumbs up. There's 82 people and only 35 likes. Come on, guys. All right, we are in the 4 hour. Let's go to the 15-minute to watch open. All right, it opened, and we dropped below the fib, but let's see if it stays here. Obviously, that can turn out to be a wick. very quickly. It is showing some hidden bearish divergence here, or hidden bullish divergence. If we close down here, if we close above on the 15 minutes, remember 15 minutes we're talking, we're not talking big charts. But if it closes above this 41.6, this 15 minute, then you'll probably, and this is lower, then you're probably going to get a bounce next 15-minute candle. But as of right now, we are below that fib there. If that remains resistance, then I think this is going to be heading down for new lows over maybe today or the next week or so. Now let's watch Biddy. I mean, Biddy, obviously getting a little bounce there, but it is down pretty damn good in the last couple days. But it is getting a little bounce. Let's go into, I think I have a, I had a Bitcoin chart already in smaller time frames. We can knock this one down to smaller time frames. Take a look at it. So we're getting a bounce off that 83.5. Will it hold? Again, a lot of that's going to depend on the markets, right? This could be an A. This be a big A, B, C. I think it's more like this is A, B, C. Could get a bounce back up to this 85 something area. Remember, I put my stops at 85.5. 93 viewers. Welcome to the people that just came in. Make sure you hit that like button. Just hit that thumbs up on the bottom. Would be appreciated. Subscribe to the channel. We are going to be doing this 5 days a week. Morning updates, going over it. I'll answer any questions you guys got. Concerned Citizen says he's already short the S&P 500. Congrats if you're up on that. I don't know when you shorted, but congrats. But that 83.5 is a pretty big deal right now. Let's go over to the Dow, see what it's doing. It's still coming down pretty hard. Definitely below the 0.236. So this should be a hard resistance for the Dow now, 41.7. And by resistance, I mean on the smaller time frames, not the daily chart. But if we close down here in the daily, this might become big resistance. We'll keep an eye on that. Bitcoin is really, really trying this. Remember, guys, this chart is from like a month ago. We drew this all out with the targets. Well, this part, and then once we got down here, we added, right? But these targets have been there for a month. And like I said, we are still playing at this 83.5. If we break it again, I think that'll be the last break, and it should become heavy resistance. Then again, we can come down to this 77.6-ish range, and then back, you know, once that breaks, that should become resistance. Now, just like this is taking forever, we could get something like that here. So be aware of that. We could just flag around in here for a long time, right? Just consolidate. But yeah, you never know. It could just drop through like this did, get a straight bounce down, and then come back up. So be careful. I myself think there's more downside coming, but we'll see. How's that trade doing now? It is up 10,000. It's 4 Bitcoin short. Should have went more. I thought I had put another order in higher. It might not have hit, but I don't see an order still existing. But oh well, is what it is. It's up pretty good. Remember, guys, I stay transparent, showing you both wins and losses. Not like the guys out there that you only see wins. If you only see wins, run, because they are bullshitting. There is no trader that doesn't have losses. And if they're not showing you trades while it's going, you know, here's how you can tell a bullshitter, right? Smash the likes, especially if you've seen this. But they'll show their trade, right? Only after it's closed in huge profits, but they never show you while it's going on, right? They don't show you while it's going on, because if they lose it, then you don't get to see their losses. So be aware of that crap. And if somebody's claiming, you know, they're showing their their trades after the fact, tell them to show it while they're doing it, right? Then you'll know if it's real or not, and then you can see their losses also. But I promise you, 99% will not do that, because they are losing more than they are winning. I promise you that, especially if they're not showing their trades. A lot of these guys, I see a lot of crypto YouTubers that talk about their trades they got in and did, but they never showed them until they were over. They showed the winning ones, but they never show what's going on during the trade. So yeah, be careful with that stuff. All right, so we got some chat going on. Good morning, Quarter. Dark Prince, I believe we still have room for downside. I believe the same. But again, remember, when the market's closed today, wherever Bitcoin's at, anything can happen over the weekend, and then it usually drifts back around to where it was. Of course, unless something huge happens, and either way, and then over the weekend, then the markets will follow Monday, right? If something huge happens over the weekend, which, given the way crap goes now, it could be even one tweet can change everything. What the hell do you call a tweet on Twitter now, or X now that it's not Twitter anymore? Is it just I don't know. What the hell do you call it? Back floating rate debt. It's about to be 2008 all over again. I think it's going to be worse than 2008, honestly. I really, really do. But like I said, that's not a bad thing. For one, it's a huge opportunity. For two, it washes out a lot of the bullshit, right? Bad banks, which there's not really many good banks if you ask me, but real bad banks get washed out. They go out of business, and then you get the shitty stocks that weren't real good companies anyway, but they were bullshitting people. You just get rid of that shit. You wash out the market and you start fresh, right? Unfortunately, this isn't a free market anymore, right? It is definitely controlled. The Fed is Fed and the politicians together. Bad news for markets, right? Bad news for markets. They'll make sure they make a shitload of money. They don't give a fuck about you. Just call it a post. I guess I can call it a post, but you could post on so many platforms, so it doesn't make it specific to X, right? That's what bugs me. Every tweet is now a psyop. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Definitely. But I guess you could just call it a post, right? Let's look at what's Solana doing. Is it breaking out of the flag yet? And then does look like Solana is about to break this flag. If I got it drawn right? Could always move this around, but XRP, like I said, it's below its support resistance. That was just a news hype, like it always gets, and then erased. Let's see. Cardano is got a little ways before it breaks the bottom of its flag, right? But they're all just still flagging out here. They've been flagging out for days. Now, again, this could turn the other way and just really shoot up if there's some big, huge BS news and the powers that be want to push stuff up one more time, right? I get a fake out. Just to push down, sweep the lows, pop back up. We've seen that over and over again. Pop back down, sweep the lows, pop back up. But remember, this is heavy support for Litecoin, 92.30. And if that's broken, we've been looking for that 75 range. Obviously, look for a bounce there. And then we got the heavy support down here around in the lower 50s. If that breaks, it'll get really ugly. Oh, damn. Stock's coming down pretty good. Everything is falling. But remember, 10 o'clock reversal. We could get that at 10 o'clock since there's so much red in the market. So watch out for that. And remember, Fridays, usually, they try to rally the markets, especially at the end of the day, the last hour or 30 minutes or so of the market open. Is there any possible entry if 4-hour RSI trend line breaks? Is there any possible entry if the 4-hour RSI trend line breaks? Are you talking about 4-hour RSI? Which trend line are you talking about here? These I just have drawn in there. These aren't necessarily real trend lines. I would look for a possible bounce if the RSI gets down to this level here. Now remember, this could drop all the way down here and come back up here and close here. So always remember that the RSI follows the body of the candle, not the wick. So You know, it can move way down here while the price is moving, but when it wicks, it'll move back up. You can't count where this is at till close, right? But it may get a bounce off this bottom trend line on the RSI, depending. It could break through and then this become resistance if it gets really bearish. So that's something to keep a close eye on. Go into the hourly and see if we see any divergence. Still playing around that 83.5 range. Man, this has been a huge area, and we were watching that for a long time. Let's see. No real divergence here. It is getting pretty low on the RSI. Let me get rid of this. Or take this out of the... Take it out of the 4 hour. For the 1 hour. That out of the 1 hour. Let's put a trend line on the 1 hour here. Is this the trend line you were talking about? No, that's the 1 hour. So it is getting a bounce off the 1 hour RSI trend line. We'll see how that plays out. If it does get a bounce, you know, you could get up and retest this area and make a higher high in the RSI showing hidden bearish divergence. That is when I like to enter shorts, and vice versa. But we have had a 1 hour sell. Remember, the 1 hour sells aren't as reliable as the daily is the most reliable, but the 4 hours more reliable than the 1 hour. The 12 hours more reliable than the, right? So as it moves up, but we did get a 1 hour sell here. So your resistance after this, right? For this 1 hour, well, we opened and closed below the 8 EMA, so that is a sell. Yep, looking pretty bearish. But again, if the markets rally somehow today, watch for the 10 o'clock reversal. If the markets do rally, Bitcoin and crypto will rally with it. Exactly, post and repost, very vague. When you're going for a long, if we get down to the lows that I'm looking for, I will switch into some longs for what I believe will be a relief rally, not a new all-time high, but a relief rally. And I'll explain that as it comes, but we have to wait for market structure to really figure that out. That's what people don't understand. You can have the targets, but you got to have structure to back it up. And right now we have no structures for a bounce to back anything up, right? Once we get some structures, then we can decide. But you can't decide exactly what's going to happen, right? So right here, it took all this time to make this structure, and we really weren't sure what was going to happen till this broke. And we were watching for that, right? And it happened. It even came back up after coming all the way down here for a retest and a rejection. But this does look like it's just flagging out here, right? Something like this. Oh, maybe this is the trend line you were talking about. This isn't in the RSI though. Let's put a trend line here and kind of see. The thing I don't like about this is you had a touch here, no real touch here. So I don't like this. Because it's not alternate touches. You can still look at it. It could, you know, it could end up playing out. And if it did, this would give you a target of, you take the widest point, right? Bring it down. You go to where it broke. So if it broke here sometime today, you'd be looking for about a $75,000 Bitcoin. If it breaks 82.8, right? But like I said, I don't really trust this because we didn't have no touch on the top after a touch on the bottom. Could we redraw that? We could. We could do something like this. But then we never really retouched the top. But we could do that, I suppose. And what target would that give us? It'd give us a little bit higher target. If we break that 82.8, bring you to somewhere around, same thing, around 76-ish for that break. And that would sweep this low, just like this one. Just like this here, swept this low. And we had talked about that before it happened too. May get the same thing over here. We are above the 83.5 now. Again. keep a close eye on this area today. And like I said, traditional markets, if they are able to rally for the reverse at the 10 o'clock, look for the Dow. If it can get back above this 641.7 and hold, then probably going to get either a big bounce or a reversal here. All right, what's up, Colin? So anyways, thanks a lot, guys. 100 people in here. I do appreciate you guys. Make sure you smash the thumbs up. Even if you're watching this after live, take a second out. Like the video. It helps more than you guys know, and I do appreciate it. Make sure you join the free Discord down below. You can follow me on Twitter. All that stuff's below. Check out the sponsor of the channel. Both of them, PrimeXBT and BITUNIX. Both links are down below. You get bonuses using my links on both exchanges. And next to the exchanges, I have put the tutorials next to them in the bottom so you can kind of see how they work and make your decision from there. So anyways, thanks again, guys. I do appreciate you stopping in. We will be doing this every morning, Monday through Friday, unless things come up, and I'll let you know if they do. But that's our new gig. So remember, we do my members video lives, members live videos a couple times a week. I didn't get to do any this week, but let's plan on tonight doing a members live where we can go over altcoins your choice, trades your choice, whatever. Discuss all that together, and I appreciate it again. I'm out, guys. Have an awesome day, and I will